So I wanted to talk about how you can learn any character you want to. You can easily pick up any character you are interested in. I cannot teach you every character, but I can teach you how you can learn any character you want to on your own. I have my notes ready here for this video because I sidetrack a lot when I try to talk freely, and I do not want to forget anything. So I look for certain things to create a game plan for myself, and these things are, firstly, combos. Combos are staples in Tekken. Every character can combo. You should use combos as well. They're very important in Tekken. So I look for an easy staple combo that I can use off of my most used launchers, such as from hopkicks. So with Jin, for example, it's something like this. An easy staple combo, reliable, not execution heavy, and that will get you started. And I also look for a wall combo. Those are important too. Like this one with Jin. Wait, does that not work? Does that not work? Whatever, I'll just use this instead. I do not play Jin much. I just picked him as an example for this video. I do know a couple of things about him. You can use these from sample combos. You can learn combos from sample combos in practice mode, or you can look for combos on YouTube. There's tons of information on the internet. Then I look at the character's punishment, block punishment. Firstly, Jin has 2-1 for 10 frames or 2-4 for 10 frames. He has 1+2 for 12 frames, down forward 1-4 for 13, forward 1+2 for 14. He also has electrics for 14, but I cannot pull those off. He has can-cans for 15, and that's all you need pretty much. Then I look at their wall standing punishment. Jin has a wall standing 4, wall standing 1, 3 for 13 frames, wall standing 2 for 14. And then I look at whiff punishers. Whiff punishers usually have good range and they're fast. For example, Jin's forward 4, or can-cans, or a quick, easy, reliable down forward 1-4, or an even faster 2-4 at close range for small whiffs. And if you want to stay safe, you can use his 2-1, for example. And then I also look for block punishers for moves with pushback. Those are important, because lots of moves in the game have pushback. For example, Heihachi's forward 4-2, Death Fists, Law's wall standing 2. You want to look for a move with good range that is reasonably fast. For example, something like 15 to 18 frames fast. Jin's forward 4, for example, is great for moves with pushback. That's it for punishment. And then I look for moves I can use with certain functions. In the move list, some functions for moves are really obvious, like screws, homing moves, power crushes, rage drives, and rage arts. Homing moves, they catch people stepping. Homing moves cannot be stepped at all. For example, Jin's magic 4 and wall standing 3. Power crushes, they go through stuff, as we know. Great against opponents that are oppressive. Rage drives, this varies from character to character and their usage. Jin's rage drive, for example, is a +1 block launcher. It's really useful in combos as well. Rage drives vary and differ from character to character. Xiaoyu's Rage Drive, for example, is an unseeable low launcher, really strong. And then we have Rage Arts. For example, Jin's back 1+2. They also absorb hits, so they can be used as panic moves. Some Rage Arts are faster, some are slower. Some Rage Arts are really useful in combos. You have to find that out for your own character. But there are also functions of moves that are less obvious and the game doesn't tell you about. And you should be able to assign certain functions to each move. And that way, you know in which situations they are most effective. So the first thing I look for are pokes. Pokes are not damaging moves, but they are fast and they're safe on block. And they are magical little moves, really important for every character with lots of functions. They restrict your character's movement, for example. They catch them pressing buttons. And they are mainly used to provoke a reaction from your opponent when they are not doing anything and they're being really defensive. You can combine your pokes with movement. For example, you do 2-1 with Jin and then backdash or sidestep to see what your opponent does. If they press a button, bam, you get a launch. That's how you use pokes. We have mid pokes, which are really important. Some characters have great mid pokes, some do not. Jin has great mid pokes. Lots of characters have generic down forward ones. These are usually a character's quickest mids, around 13 to 14 frames fast. Jin's down forward one is great, it's 30 frames. It has other great properties. Then we have generic down forward 4s. Jin doesn't have one, but they're usually 12 frame mids that have a lot of pushback on block or on hit, so they're great as defensive tools. Lucky Chloe has a standing 4 which acts like a generic down forward 4. Xiaoyu has a generic down forward 4. Alisa has one. Lots of characters have a generic down forward 4. And then we have jabs and jab strings. One jabs are super important in the game. They are usually a character's fastest move, and they're plus on block, +1. So they give you a small advantage so that you could start your offense more easily. They have quick recovery. They're really hard to punish on with great moves. And then we have jab strings for poking. Lots of characters have 1-2 strings. Really useful for poking because they're so quick and they have good recovery on block. Some characters have quick mid, high mid pokes, high mid poke strings. For example, Jin's 2-1. I like to use these kind of strings for opponents who like to randomly duck under your jab and then try to launch your jab on whiff. The second hit will counter hit them in that case. Sorry, I'm looking at my notes here. I'm lost. Xiaoyu has, for example, a 2-1 as well. She has 1 down 2. Lily has her 1-2 jab string. They are important for poking. And then we of course have low pokes, like Jin's down 4 or down back 4. These are usually quick lows that do not deal much damage. They are there for chipping away health from your opponent relatively safely without too much risk involved. Don't overdo the low pokes because you will be low parried or hop kicked. just back away, for example, and see what your opponent does afterwards. And then I look for safe power mids for bullying my opponents. Mids are usually the safest moves a character has because they're less prone to being avoided. Lots of characters have moves with built-in high evasion or low evasion, but mid evasion is less frequent, and on top of that, mids cannot be ducked. A safe oppressive power mid that is great is, for example, Jin's forward 4-2. Great range and wall splats and is safe. Or Lili's down forward 3, Mishima's forward 4. I'm trying to think of more examples. Anna's back 4 maybe. Not the best example, but you get me. And then I look for power lows. These are lows that are more damaging than your low pokes, but they are not snakeages. Like, you know, Brian's snakeage, Lily's snakeage, those are really slow launching lows. Try not to rely on them too much because they are seeable. Opponents can block them on reaction. But really useful power lows that you should be looking for are unseeable lows that knock down, for example. Health sweeps are a good example of that, like Jin's. Unseeable low launcher. I don't know the combo off the top of my head.
Looney6hi.
Hey, thank you for the resub connecting. I'm talking about something right now. I'll read the chat later. Power lows are usually more unsafe and much slower than your low pokes. That's why they are risky to use versus aggressive opponents. You will get counter hit or interrupted. They are mostly used for opening up really defensive opponents that aren't doing much. You can take away their health and they have nothing else to do but try to take back their advantage over you. And then we have tools against aggressive opponents. You should be looking for characters' counter hit tools, like counter hit launchers, for example, Jin's great magic for. Fast, homing. What else do you need? Lots of characters have magic force. They're called magic force because they're usually a character's quickest counter hit launchers. If your character has a magic force, use it. And then I look for panic moves. These are usually really evasive moves, but they are unsafe as well. And you use these as a last resort when you are getting overwhelmed by an opponent's pressure and you don't know what else to do anymore. For example, duck jabs. Duck jabs are not risky as much, and they have evasiveness, and they're quick. Those are really common panic tools. Also hop kicks, quick, low crushing launchers. Lots of people love to spam hop kicks as panic tools. And then we have moves like Devil Jin's up 4 or Lars's up forward 3. Those are launchers with crazy built-in evasiveness. Or Lily's Matterhorn, for example. They avoid lots of highs and mids, or even lows sometimes. Lots of crazy evasiveness. But they're also really unsafe. They're usually launch punishable on block, so that's the trade-off. And you should be very careful with them. Rage darts can be panic moves as well, since they absorb a hit. And power crushes, of course. And then we have keep out tools. These are usually safe on block moves that have pushback on block or on hit. You use these so that you could take a breather from your opponent's pressure. Now, I'm not sure what moves could Jin use as a keep out tool, but let me pick Xiaoyu as an example. She has lots of great keep out tools. For example, her down forward 1. Lots of pushback. Same with her 2-1 or her forward 4-3. You can poke your opponent and just run away, and they cannot touch you. And then I look for wall tools. I'm looking for a position. Everything in the game is more dangerous at the wall. I look for safe wall spotting mids, like Xiaoyu's down back 1, or EOP 1+2, or 1+2 from the neutral. Some characters have great wall spotting tools. Xiaoyu's up forward 1+2 2-1 is a really damaging counter hit string at the wall. Lots of characters have hop kicks that are safe on block and wall spot. These are great at the wall. For example, Leo's and Kazuya's up forward 3, Dragunov's up 3, or is it up forward 3? I don't know the notation, but they're wall spotting mids that avoid lows. Great tools. And then I look at a character's throw game. Do they have command throws? For example, Xiaoyu's down forward 1+2. And then I look for the Okizemi the character gets after a throw. Do they get something good? Xiaoyu does. She can connect a launcher. And if the opponent tries to get up, they're gonna get launched. Lots of throws. Wall spot, for example, Katarina's or Kazumi's. Some throws launch. For example, Xiaoyu's forward 2+3. Now, this is an escapable launch, but if the character doesn't know what they have to do, then they're gonna get launched. And of course, you can find lots of lists of characters' top moves on the internet. There are videos containing a character's top moves. There are lots of threads on Reddit where they list off a character's best moves that you should use. Same for character discords. You can join character discords where there are lots of great information that can help you out. And this is how I pick up a new character. When I look for these functions, I can create a game plan for myself with any character.